Today, I'm excited to talk to you guys about a new and upcoming product. We have our 4.0T intercooler for the C7S6 and go into the engineering and the hurdles we had along the way, and then the performance characteristics of this intercooler and why you need it. In front of me, you have the factory air-to-water intercooler for 4.0T cars. This is very prone to heat soak for all cars, upgraded turbos or stock. With the added complexities of this design, there's really restricted airflow and an integrated breather. These are all considerations we had to make when we designed our own prototype. This is our first prototype, which incorporates multiple cast components. The charge air will come down through this cast manifold, down through the intercooler, and it's a dual pass, so it comes back up the outside, back into the manifold, and then into the intake manifold on the bottom side of the cylinder heads. We ran into a couple issues with this design. One, it didn't flow well enough. Two, we had a pressure drop issue. And then three, the most complicated one, was a cavitation issue we were seeing inside the intercooler due to it being dual pass. This is our second prototype, and as you see, it's a little bit different than the first. We need to solve three issues: pressure drop, cavitation, and flow. We solved pressure drop and cavitation by changing the design of the core. Our flow restriction was mainly coming from the manifold on the first prototype, so we switched over to a traditional 2¼ inch charge pipe. Additionally, you'll see two map sensor locations, and we'll go into detail on why we have those later down the road. After 2 years and 2 prototypes, we finally landed on this production unit you see here. Some of the key benefits for this intercooler are to reduce intake air temperatures, which raises your performance ceiling, reduce heat soak, which decreases the likelihood to pool timing, and in those rare instances when you have upgraded turbochargers, our intercooler will not melt like the OE plastic unit. Now we'll go through a list of all the design features. The frontal area of our intercooler is 280 square inches compared to the 50 square inches of the OE unit. The intercooler features a 3.5 inch thick bar and plate core, which is a single pass design. The total volume of our intercooler is 900 cubic inches. This system retains all emissions and PCV related components. We utilize all factory mounting solutions with the addition of 4 rivet nuts in the crash beam. This system does not require any trimming of the crash beam on the S6 model. Our kit simplifies turbo service and access to components in the engine valley, such as the PCV, by not requiring you to put your car in service mode. The intercooler mounting is isolated from the engine through silicone couplers and polyurethane mounts. Included is a plug-and-play extension harness for your map sensor. We include 2¼ inch aluminum charge pipes with a brushed finish. The rest of our components are powder coated or anodized and include stainless steel hardware for superior corrosion resistance. Unlike traditional intercooler systems where you have a core and charge pipes, we have 2 other components that make this feasible. One of them is our fan shroud, and one of them is our polyurethane heat exchanger mounts. Our fan shroud is a very unique but critical piece of this system. Not only is it made out of sheet metal instead of injection molded plastic like the OE unit, it allows us to retain the factory fans, move them closer towards the bottom of the car, and suck them in closer to the heat exchanger to allow more room for those 2¼ inch charge pipes. In addition to the fan shroud, we have our polyurethane heat exchanger mounts. So our fan shroud's already moving the OE fans down, but then we move the whole heat exchanger stack down an additional 10 millimeters to clear even more space for those charge pipes. Working through the whole system, we have a whole lot of different components at play here. First, we start up here with the throttle bodies. We have 3 machined plates that not only hold the throttle bodies close to the OE position, but they also retain the PCV like the OE intercooler used to. After that, you have 2 wire reinforced silicone couplers. You have a breather connected to the front and a PCV breather on the back with a check valve. After those, we go into our hot side charge pipes. Hot side charge pipes lead into the intercooler, which obviously would be in this void here. We then have our cold side charge pipes going up, meeting up with these 2 charge pipes. And if you look way down in there, we have bolt-on flanges that mount to the intake manifolds. Not only do we have that, when you look a little closer, we have our fan shroud. This adjusts our OE fans closer to the heat exchanger stack and further down. With the additional polyurethane mounts, we move the whole heat exchanger stack down. That is the only way we were able to fit 2¼ inch charge pipes in here. Before, we were underneath 2 inch. And then lastly, when you look through the whole system, you'll see a lot of breather hoses that used to be inside the OE intercooler, but now they're separate pieces with plastic tees and silicone tubes. This intercooler is now available along with other offerings for the C7 chassis. A link is in the description, or head over to ECStuning.com. Please like, comment, and subscribe for more enthusiast content.